On today's episode, I have a dear friend, the one and only Meaghan. So, fun backstory. I actually met her through weddings when she worked as a wedding planner as an assistant, and then ended up working in the rental industry. And she was like the boss on luxury rentals. But come full circle, we made it through a pandemic world. We're on the other side. And now she has her own business, and it's called Function Forward Lifestyle. And she's also got her own little one. They've been married for 9 years and they have a one-eyed rescue dog, which we love. So that's awesome. But welcome to the show, Meaghan.
Thanks, Marina.
Yeah, no, I'm excited you're here because we all need some organization in our lives. And I love that you focus on busy moms and busy lifestyles and truly not just like making it pretty and cute, but actual functional to your life. So tell me, like, how did you get here? What made you start the business? How did you get through your career to here? Like, give me the backstory.
Yes. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm just so proud of you. I'm so excited for this new journey that you're on. You've just been so much has been going on in your life the last few years, and it's just been a blast to watch. So it's really an honor to be here. But yeah, I guess my story is very similar, I think, to a lot of people's, especially I honestly think moms, and it started in 2020. I think human nature is we tend to avoid hard things unless forced to. And I think for me, at least 2020, as hard as that year was, a lot of good came out of it and just a lot of forced discomfort that really created the opportunity to reevaluate my own life and our quality of life as a family and our work-life balance. And so after being locked in a not very large condo with my son for 3 months, um, I realized a couple of things. One, I do really love working and I love having something that's mine. But two, I could not go back to just the routine that we had prior to that. And I really was motivated to find something that worked for my family instead of my family working for whatever job was making me money at the time. And, realistically, we are a two-income household. That's not an option for us in Hawaii. So, I decided instead of going back to somebody's office afterwards, I was just going to create something that worked for us. Um, and yeah, so organizing is, I guess I could say, something I've sort of always done.
Mhm.
I did it for friends for fun, never gave any consideration to making it a business. Um, but just like me, being locked in my house, a lot of other people were locked in their homes for a long period of time. And once things kind of started opening up, I just had a lot of friends reaching out saying, I cannot look at my house another second. Please come in and do something with it.
Yeah.
And so what started is just kind of a way to get some adult interaction again and make a little money and just get out of my house. Eventually just transformed into, could this, is this job? Do people do this?
Yeah.
Can I do this for other people? And, you know, turns out you can. So now we're
Amazing.
going on 4 years and I don't always love a lot of the business ownership side of things, being honest, but I absolutely love doing what I do. And I'm just so excited every time I get to go into a new house and meet a new family. And I can't believe I still get to keep doing this.
Yeah, no, for sure. So when you were little, were you like always super perfect in your room and like always organized, or you grew into this?
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot, actually, especially as I meet so many different people in their journey. And I've come to realize, I think I would have in the past called myself like a perfectionist, or I was probably, kind of titled as like type A growing up because I was very particular about things.
Yeah.
Um, but as I've gotten older, and especially now that I'm a mom and a wife, and there's other people in my space now, and life has just gotten more chaotic. I've realized that a lot of those traits had less to do with me just loving perfection and more to do with just a need for order for my own sanity. So it was really more of yeah, just a necessity for my functionality. Um, and then, once I just had kind of created systems that worked for me, that got me through my life, that made sure I knew how to find my things or, you
Mm.
know, just where to put stuff or whatever. And then once I had my family and these other humans who like to do things their own way, and none of my systems were working anymore because I had other people messing everything up, um, it really just kind of forced me to reevaluate the concept of, being organized as a household and creating a space that worked for everybody. And yeah, I'm learning I'm really not actually type A. I'm not a perfectionist. I don't really need things perfect all the time.
Mhm.
I just need to know where my stuff is.
Yeah.
I just need to
And
not
where
feel
it
insane
goes.
all the time and to not be the only person in the house who knows where things are and for everyone to kind of know what to do. And
Yeah.
yeah, so yeah, I've always been organized, but I'm learning now it's been out of necessity and not needing it to be
Yeah.
pretty and perfect.
That's so good. And I think that's just motherhood in a bottle, right? To say like it's never going to be perfect, it's never going to be clean, it's never going to be exactly what you want, but we roll with the
And
punches and we make the
and you
most.
don't that's not a fun household to be in, you know.
Yeah.
I grew up in a house where things had to be pretty in order all the time. And when you're a kid, I'm like, I don't care if things look nice all the time. I just want to feel like I'm comfortable in this house too. And,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want my son to be miserable. I want Legos and things to be able to be out and
Hmm.
crafts to happen and, you know, messes to be made. That's fine. But the big difference between that being a source of insanity and, you know, it being a source of playtime is the
Yeah.
systems that we have in place to just make it manageable to put back together when we're done, you know?
Yeah.
So we don't have to always be living in chaos, but I also don't have to make everyone in my house miserable so that
Hmm.
I can function, you know?
Which we just talk about like the empowering that organizing is when it comes to relationships. Like, I don't have to
Hmm.
be the cranky, like, particular mom all day, but instead we can teach them how to actually do the things too, and they know where everything
Yeah.
goes. That's huge, instead of being like
Yeah.
nagging constantly. Like, that's not the fun mom. Sure.
And I found too, you know, when the messes happen, and again, I'm not painting a unrealistic picture.
Hmm.
Like I don't love it. It's not like
Yeah.
I walk into my son's disaster of a room and I'm like, this is great, you
No,
know,
we're like, oh God.
but it doesn't make me want to lose it anymore because I know it's an easy fix. Whereas, you know, if you're just living in chaos and clutter, it feels really overwhelming because it's not as simple as just picking it up and putting it away. It's a lot of decisions that have to be made. It's, you know, maybe things aren't put away because you don't know where to put them. And it's this whole
Yeah.
ripple effect of like, I don't know. So then you feel very overwhelmed because you've kind of just resolved to knowing this is the chaos that I have to live with. And, you know,
Yeah, you
you're
accept
resentful at
it.
your family for not picking up, or you're resentful at your husband for not helping. And at the end of the day, you know, nobody really can because what are they supposed to do too? So,
Yeah.
um, I mean, throughout this conversation, I'll probably say the word systems a million times, but
Mhm.
it really comes down to
That's
systems, and
what it is.
systems
Yeah.
are the difference between having messes that you can pick up and a really stressful, chaotic, resentful household.
Yeah. And I gotta say, kids' rooms are probably the number one area where I'll tour someone's house, like as a potential listing. And the closet doesn't have any system and it's just shit piled in there, like literally stacked on top all kinds of ways. And I think it's
Yeah.
because we just get overwhelmed because there's so much stuff all the time. And then the
Yeah.
kids don't know where anything goes. So we just default to be like, well, I guess it's how it's going to be. Like,
Well, and you're just trying to create some, you know, you're just trying to clear some of the visual clutter, right? Because at the end of the day, you're coming home, you're exhausted, especially if you're not that dads don't take on a lot too. I don't like that, you know, concept. I believe that dads are very wonderful. But as women, we carry a lot of the mental load and our
mhm,
brains are melting and we're so overwhelmed and we have a million lists in our head and we're signing our kids up for activities and filling out the 100th form and planning the meals and thinking of the things and preparing for the holidays and it's just never ending. And so then you walk into a home and it's just filled with chaos and your brain is like, you know, so yeah, of course, if it's, you know, if you just need a little bit of mental clarity, it makes sense that you're just gonna shove things away so at least you can kind of
totally.
focus a little bit. But yeah, then you end up with closets and cupboards and you know all
Mhm.
the behind all those doors, you know it's still there.
No, and I think living in Hawaii specifically, I mean, we're challenged because we have less square footage to start with. We don't have basements. We don't have garages for storage. Like we have to park our cars in garages or we all park in the
Yeah.
street. And it's
I mean,
just,
if you have a garage at all, that's not
yeah,
even
you're
that
very
common.
blessed to have a garage. Let's just say that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so we're constantly comparing ourselves to mainland culture where they can have all the
Right.
things and they like we go home to for Christmas and stuff and the kids have all the things But in Hawaii, it's really challenging to keep it.
Yeah.
And I was just doing like literally a 5 minute Google before this about consumerism and about our American culture. And it was funny because one of the things they mentioned was like, there's always an it thing, right? There's never like,
Yeah.
you can never just like settle and be like, the Stanley is it. So they talked about like, well, it used to be, what was it? The Hydro Flask.
Water bottles.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Hydro Flask started, and then it's the Stanley, and next it's the Owala. And then before we know it, we have 14 water bottles and we don't know what to do with it. It's never ending. Hey ladies, real quick, if you are looking for a mentor, I just wanted to remind you that I offer mentorship to entrepreneurs. So if you're someone who has a never-ending to-do list and you're spiraling out of control and feel like your business doesn't have a track plan, I want to work with you every single week for a month at a time. It's super simple, but I come from over 10 years of experience doing this myself, and now I'm willing to give that information back to people. So I've mentored real estate agents, I've mentored wedding photographers, I've mentored other business owners, and they've come from a place of overwhelm mostly, and they really just needed clarity and a couple of action steps to move the needle, and we've seen gigantum leaps and bounds in their business, like I can't even tell you. So if you're interested and you want to know what that looks like, I want you to go to marinatolentino.com. And there's a Calendly link there to do a 15-minute discovery call with me just to see if we're a good vibe check, to make sure we're on the same page. And I would love to work with you one-on-one to really boost your business to the next level. Let's dive back in.
Sometimes it's easier, well, and temporarily it's easier to kind of buy yourself out of the situation that you're in. So you're kind of seeking some sort of a boost. So you're overwhelmed by the overall space. So you think, okay, well, I'll feel good if I at least buy this thing. Or one of the things I always see in homes is, we'll start the decluttering process. And as we go through that, I usually try to start, create like a collection of their existing organizing products, because most people have tons of organizing products from the attempts that they've made. And so I'll kind of start this pile, and you realize, people have spent hundreds of dollars on these products thinking that's going to fix their problem. Or, we're scrolling social media and constantly being sold crap, constantly. And it's never been easier to buy stuff as it is right now. I mean, you literally just throw something in your Amazon cart and it's in your house, in a couple of days. And we're just buying all these things to solve all of our problems, and we're just drowning in crap.
Yeah.
And even organizing products, I'll say, like, I love organizing products. There's a lot of products I really love, but as of right now, I don't even really in good conscience market those things on my social media, because I don't really believe the product is solving your problem. The product's only going to solve your problem if it's within the correct plan. If we have a good plan for your specific problem in your specific place, and then we can find the right product that solves that problem. But for me to just get on social media and be like, I love this basket, I love this, whatever, I love this product, I just think that I'm helping people get into the same issue they're already in, which is they're going into Target being told, sold all these products and these pictures of really nice playrooms and closets and whatever. They're like, okay, I'll buy this basket. It's going to, fix everything. And it just doesn't. And it's just adding to their clutter, and they're just throwing money at it. And I don't know. I don't want to be a part of what I know so many people are already drowning in. Have you ever been to, I'm sure you have, but have you been to anyone who hasn't been to the dump before? Just go to the dump. Do a dump run.
Yeah.
You've been before,
gosh.
right?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's horrifying.
That right there is just like, oh, we have so much stuff. Everyone just has so much stuff.
And that's just the Hawaii context. Imagine, like, the mainland is so bad, and just America is so bad. But it leads into all these emotional issues too. Like, kids play longer and better with less toys, and we don't think about that. Like, so there's a cost to everything, pros and cons. But walk me through your process. So you come to someone's house. How do you help understand the function that's needed?
I mean, I will say, so organizing is not one size fits all. I am very conscientious about trying to create solutions that work for each household. So I'm not going to come in and say, this is how I do it. It's just like the home edit. I'm going to make your books in a rainbow order. I'm going to do it this way. I only use these products. This is what works. That's not realistic. Like, my goal is always longevity. I want to create systems that are going to work for your family for a while. Now, obviously, kids' needs change, stuff in your house changes, things change, but for the most part, a good system can really last you a while, with just little tweaks along the way. So I really take the time to get to know my clients. I ask a lot of questions. I want to know who lives in the house with you. I want to understand their ages, their abilities to contribute. What's your daily routine? What kind of activities do you do? What's kind of working? What's not working? It's really just like a fact-finding mission. And that's especially during the decluttering. So I always start with the decluttering because there's no point in investing time and money and purchasing product for stuff that doesn't even need to
Sure.
be to begin with. So we do decluttering. It's not about forcing you to get rid of things. It's about just going through and really deciding what deserves to live in your home and what is just adding to the chaos and just getting that stuff out,
Hmm.
finding space. And then through that process, I'm really getting familiar with who you are, what you have, what you guys are into,
Yeah.
what your activities are, what kind of systems we're going to need because I'm getting a good idea of what's in your space. So once we go through that, then my wheels are always turning the whole time. And I'm kind of thinking of, okay, so if somebody might tell me like I'm really overwhelmed by visual clutter. I don't want to see a lot of stuff. Like, okay, cool. So we're going to want to minimize the visual clutter, which means let's try and put stuff, either in something where they don't have to look at it all the time or, try and get stuff behind doors as much as possible. But also, they might tell me, but I'm very out of sight, out of mind. So, okay, so maybe you're saying you want to put a bunch of things in baskets, so you don't have to look at it, but also let's remember, like, we don't want to forget what's in there. So it's just kind of balancing, the look that they're going for, but also understanding, like, let's make sure you're not just shoving things in a pretty basket and
Hmm.
never finding it again and then rebuying it 100 times. So, and yeah, and then like with kid spaces, like I don't want to create a system that only mom can keep up with. So we
Hmm.
want to create really simplified systems so that, the age of the child within that space can theoretically be a part of maintaining that space. They can easily find things. They can easily things away. Heavy things are down low so they don't have to get stuff from up high. It's not too over categorized, keeping things general so that when they're cleaning up that big pile, they can easily know where the trucks go and the blocks go and the Legos go. Just kind of keeping it simple so that it's not one person in the household's
Hmm.
system. But yeah, I'm just really big on longevity. I'm not just trying to create pretty spaces. The aesthetic is the sky's the limit for that based on, your preferences and your budget, but there is just a common sort of functionality that we're aiming for first and foremost. And at the end of the day, organization it's not complicated. It's just, do you know where your stuff is?
Yeah.
Does everything have a home and can you find it?
Most of us could probably answer no to every of those questions.
And
That's
it
what we're looking
happens, and I
for.
don't
Yeah.
really believe that people are naturally disorganized or messy. I think life happens.
Yeah.
And I think that our homes are literally just a reflection of the season of life that we're in. So
Yeah.
a lot of our clients are families. I've recently had just a lot of military clients. And oh my gosh, as I'm learning more and more about just the nightmare that they go through with
Mhm.
their moves and these moving companies and it's terrible. I just feel so bad for them. So, just of course our houses look the way that they do. It's not a reflection on you. This is just, yeah, it just got tangled in a huge mess, and I'm really good at untangling knots.
Yes, you are. So you have done two of our condos, which bless you for
I
that.
know. I'm wondering, it's like I'm cursing you or I'm helping. Like
You have a
it's like
lifelong
every home
client.
of yours I touch, you then leave within a year.
No, no, no. It's because every space is different. And then I'm like, oh, wait, it doesn't work anymore. Like, I just need a tune up, right? But the things that we've got are still really
And
good.
your warehouse, even your business, everything I touch of yours, Marina, you end up parting with.
We still have the honey company. The farm's still good.
We're gonna call it upgrading. You upgrade each time.
Yes, yes. It's an evolution.
Yeah.
No, but there's some like key things that have stuck with me every time we've worked together. So one of them
Mhm.
is the packaging. Like that's just the thing that you do. You take everything out of the packaging. So much of the bulk in
Yeah.
the cabinets is literally cardboard boxes or plastic or
Yep.
whatever. When we
Yep.
just take it out, we free up like 50% of the space. It's crazy to
Yeah.
me. Now that's like instant. When I'm putting something away from the grocery store, I take it out of the packaging, put it in the container it's supposed
Yeah.
to go,
It's not
which
just
is like,
about making like pretty in a jar, but it does make a huge difference,
yeah,
especially when you're trying to like quickly, when you know, when you're a mom and you're trying to put that grocery list together, you should just be able to open that cabinet door and easily be like, oh, we're low on this. You don't want to rummage through,
yeah,
14 Costco boxes and be like, oh, shoot, there's only one bag of goldfish left in there. I
nope.
didn't know.
So good.
So,
And then the other thing you taught me was the whole backstock idea, which is also a home
yeah.
edit thing, but it's just like before I would just like pile crap up and then never know where it went. And then you just keep buying more and more and more. Whereas like now you can literally pull out a bin and be like, these are all the extras and the backups. And then that's all I have to look at. I don't have to look in 50 places. It's like right there, which has
Yeah.
been super, super helpful. Is there any other like key habits that you use in your lifestyle as you're shopping? Like, how do you, like, what's your system like as far as maintenance?
I mean, I will say the majority of the systems that I use in life come out of a place of my own laziness and my
Mm-hmm.
hatred for cleaning.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I love organizing because I love solving a problem for the long term.
Mm-hmm.
I hate putting my energy into things that don't last. So
Yep.
I love organizing because I will go put all this energy into creating a system that's like, I mean, this, I was just touching up our bathroom the other day and was like, this same system's been in our bathroom for 4 years. We've
Yeah.
done nothing to it. It has worked for 4 years.
Amazing.
You go through and throw away the old like lotion or makeup every once in a while, but other than that, not a single bin has moved or been relabeled.
Wow.
That is what I like to put my energy into. I
Mm-hmm.
hate cleaning my house. I hate cleaning. If you have children, there's nothing that feels like less or more of a waste of energy.
I
It's
know.
like it's like raking leaves in a windstorm. You're like, what is the point?
Uh-huh.
So, I find that by being, organized, at least I can pick things up and tidy things up really quickly. And I feel good about it, but, I'm not necessarily vacuuming every day.
Yeah.
Um, I don't enjoy grocery shopping and meal planning and all of that. Those aren't things I really love doing. So, when it comes to, because I hate going to the grocery store, I want to make sure I'm going once when I'm going and I'm not forgetting something. So, our systems are really how can I easily walk through the house and figure out what we're, low on,
Mhm.
make that list and only go once. This seems really obvious, but not everybody uses this. I just have a whiteboard on our fridge. And that is just known in our family as that is the brain dump place. So if we are out of something, like if my husband is low on something, if he does not put it on the whiteboard,
Doesn't get
I
bought.
didn't get to the grocery store and it is no longer my responsibility. Like,
Hey guys, I hope you're enjoying the podcast. But real quick, if you are someone that's super overwhelmed and you're worrying, how the heck am I supposed to do all this stuff? I want to tell you, I have a really good 4-week course for you. It's called Core Values of Your Calendar. It's super succinct to the point, filled with stories about how I've overcome overwhelm myself and the strategies and tools I use today to do all the things that I'm doing today. So I've been there, I've seen it. I mean, I still see it on my feed today. All the influencers who are telling us, do this, sell more, be more, post 12 times a day, right? And it's freaking impossible. And so I want you to go to marinatolentino.com, scroll down and look for the course. Again, it's called Core Values of Your Calendar. Read it, see if it's right for you, but I would love for you to dive in and literally implement the tools and systems and strategies that I've learned over the years and have paid thousands of dollars in coaching to get this information and give it to you in this course. Check that out and we'll get right back to the podcast.
I guess you're making your own run to Target.
Yeah.
But it's just a brain dump because I'm so overwhelmed and I don't really always do that well with all the lists on my phone. And so it's just the middle of our house. It's a place we're passing by all the time. There's a, dry erase marker right there. And it's just I took a shower and realized I was low on face wash and I threw it on the board really quick. So it's just a kind of a catch-all and then I make sense of it, before I go shopping. So
Well, it's so
um, just making it easy on myself. That's really what all of these sort of systems come down to.
yeah.
So
And I think what's great about you too is you obviously have knowledge of all the product. Whereas like I would think of one way to do thing and then you're like, no, we're gonna use a lazy Susan instead. And I'm like, huh, genius, who would have thought of a lazy Susan? Like it just
I do a ridiculous amount of research on this.
yeah. But
I
that's your
will
value.
literally, I mean, and you learn with every project, but I feel like I'm putting my name on this. If I'm doing something for somebody, I'm not just going to buy whatever bin on Amazon. If I'm trying something for the first time, I'm going to buy 3 or 4 different versions and I'm going to figure out which brand actually works well and then return the others. So I'm always like, I actually have a measuring tape in my purse at all times. So when I'm in Target or whatever, I'm always measuring things. I'm sure most people don't even open these tabs, but whenever I'm purchasing something, I'm opening all of the the specs and the whatever on every product. I'm reading the,
Amazing.
reviews. I'm reading the questions people ask. So yeah, I kind of do a stupid amount
Yeah.
of, and not, I just like doing it. So
But that's something that people don't understand. They think, oh, she just comes in and organizes, not knowing that you're spending 8 to 10 hours behind the scenes on the internet
guys,
and in the
I do space
store.
planning. Our event planning days, I used to make the layouts for our
Yeah,
event
like
layouts. And
stuff.
now
Yeah.
I'm literally on my couch at 10 p.m. creating a 2 scale layout of somebody's child's playroom and like, okay, does the cube shelf fit here or here?
The half an
So,
inch makes a difference. You got to know.
yeah, it's a lot of behind the scenes.
Yeah.
It
That's,
matters, and especially in Hawaii, we don't have the wiggle room. So I'm like, I better be sure that that shelf fits at that wall because
yeah.
I have a plan B.
And
So
product isn't cheap either. If every piece is $25, it adds up real quick. So I love that you're
it
super
really does.
intentional. Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, that's why, like, I love these stores. I love these organizing stores, but they're a business too. And they're really trying to market to everybody. So they're trying to sell everybody on their products being the answer to their
Yeah.
their problems. And it's not true. It's kind of like if you are going to remodel your kitchen, you're not just going to go into Home Depot and start throwing things into a cart. You're going to have a plan for that. But
Yeah.
that's not what people do with organizing. And I know it seems silly and dumb probably, but that's why you're getting into the messes that you are, is you're going into it without really a plan, or you're trying to just tackle this one corner. But most times when your house has kind of gone into disarray,
Mhm.
you can't really just tackle that one corner because chances are all the stuff in your house is kind of just merged into all the spaces. You kind of got to go around and be like, okay, the extra toothpaste doesn't belong in my son's closet. It probably needs to find its way back to the bathroom, but I don't have room in the bathroom closet because my extra shoes are there. And so let's move those wherever. And, your stuff is just kind of all over.
Yeah.
Um, so you need a game plan. And um, yeah, they're very good at their marketing, these
Yeah.
companies.
And we need you, a third party, to say, you don't need to buy that one. Get the cheaper one
Yeah.
instead, or you
Yeah.
don't need it at all. No,
Or
it's so
don't
good.
buy that one. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think one of the things that I've hurdled with too is like you have an old system, and so you're emotionally and like attached to it because you've also invested in that old system. But if it no longer works, how do you get people over the hurdle to like throw stuff away? Have you ever had like issues with that, or like when people are so emotionally stuck to stuff, how do they let go when it doesn't serve them?
Yeah. The decluttering process is a journey. I I really love it. It is not for the faint of heart. It is definitely, so I don't do decluttering solo. I always do decluttering with the client.
Oh
There's
yeah.
other organizers who will come in and do it for you. I personally don't understand how that works because this is your stuff.
Yeah.
Um, so it I go at the speed of the client because, like you said, there's some people I come in and they're like, burn it all down, burn the whole house down. I don't care. Throw it all away.
Yeah.
And that'll go pretty fast. And then there's other people where, there's going to be a story with every item and there's going to be, we got to, they have to talk themselves through it. At the end of the day, I'm not there to make you get rid of things. So I'm kind of there to come in with the game plan and kind of be your accountability partner to help us, stay focused on the goals and talk through it. We'll kind of sometimes do things in phases. So I always like to begin with the like fast pass. Like the goal is let's not get stuck. We don't want to get stuck because you want to keep that momentum going.
Mhm.
Otherwise, it's very easy for people to be like, you know what, whatever, let's quit.
Yeah.
So we don't want to sit there and just get caught up on the one little thing. If the little thing is, fine, we'll set it aside. We'll come back later. Let's just go through and just figure out what you easily are unattached to. And let's just start finding space. Let's just
Yeah.
start decluttering, getting things out, gaining some just visual clarity.
Mhm.
I do find that as people, it helps for people to, how do I want to phrase this? So if that's all you've known and you have no idea what it feels like to experience a functioning space,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I get it. It's very hard to think past. All you know is what you know. So if you've got these things that kind of sort of work sometimes, you've invested money into it, you maybe sort of possibly could use it for whatever, or all the things we tell ourselves. It's very hard for me to counter that with the vision I have in my head that I know where we can get
Yeah.
it to, but they can't see that. And I get that. So no
Mm-hmm.
problem. So we do the best we can with where we're at.
Yeah.
Um, get rid of what we can. I'm not there to strong arm you into minimalism. But I also know that it's like a snowball effect. So they just kind of have to start seeing it.
Yeah.
I find that once we can get a space functioning and they can see and experience and touch and live their life in a functioning space, I find that the attachment to stuff starts to lessen.
Mm-hmm.
And
Because
over
do it.
time, it's like I'll have clients text me where they're like, I just filled a whole trash bag. It's like once you have that thing that you can now connect to, then you have that to counter your attachment to your stuff. So now when you're going through that, kind of this next wave of going through your items, you're like, okay, well, I don't like this thing as much as I like the feeling that this space gives me. So I guess I don't care about it as much.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense.
Yes.
So yeah, sometimes it's a slower process for some, but
Yeah.
yeah, the decluttering is it's very personal. I take it very seriously. I recognize the responsibility that I have coming into essentially a stranger's home.
Mm-hmm.
They don't usually know me in the beginning. By the time they've called in a stranger to handle their personal items, they're generally in a place of complete overwhelm.
Yeah.
And I don't take that lightly. And yeah, I'm coming in and I'm gonna handle all of your stuff. I have seen it all.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know everything. And I treat that with the utmost respect. It is a safe zone. It
Mm-hmm.
is a judgment-free zone. It
Mm-hmm.
is a secret zone. Like I don't like whatever we come across is that doesn't matter. I just see stuff that needs a home. I just see things that need a home and things that need categories, whatever that category is. It's just not, I don't know. I understand the emotional heaviness that can come with that process. And
That's a very trusting place to be. And so you do such a great job of giving permission and grace and all the things. So good job. I want to end this with like, do you have a last piece of advice for someone that's like, I need your help, Meaghan, but like, what the heck do I do? Like, what do you want to tell them? Or they're just trying to do it all. They've tried the systems, they're feeling burnt out and just they want to throw their hands up. What do you want to tell them?
I mean, first, I would say have grace on yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Your space, again, like I said before, is not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of whatever the season of life is that you're in. I would say that it feels hard because it's legitimately hard. If you have a house full of stuff, that's not just you not being able to clean it up. That is decisions that need to be made. That is
Yeah.
a lot of decisions that need to be made. So I think first and foremost, yeah, give yourself grace. And I just want to, yeah, reiterate, it is hard. It is hard. It's not you. It's hard. It's big. Um, what I do is a skill set. I don't know how to explain it, but the way that I see it is like I can see a pile of stuff and it makes sense in my head what to do with it. And if you don't see things that way, that's okay. It's
Yeah.
just not your skill set. So it's nothing against you. There's plenty of skill sets that I do not have.
Yeah.
And I will gladly bring someone in to help me with that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just the main thing is this isn't, and I think women, we can struggle with that because you're looking at your house thinking, why can't I just do this?
Yeah.
So I guess there's that. Um, and yeah, just go easy on yourself and just do a little bit. If you want to get started on your own,
Mm-hmm.
don't start with anything emotional. Do not start with photos or kids' projects or anything like that. Find something that is not as emotionally triggering. Pick a drawer, pick a
Mm-hmm.
shelf, pick something small and just get started. And, every time you get an Amazon box in the mail, just set it next to your door or go walk around your house and fill it and just, chip away at it. So just practice the art of letting things leave your home.
Mm-hmm.
And then be very thoughtful about what comes into your home. So just ask yourself every time you're going to make a purchase, am I prepared to live with this thing for the long term and find a home for it? And alternatively, am I prepared to figure out how to make this thing leave my home after,
Mm-hmm.
So just
Yeah.
conscientious purchasing. So
It's good
yeah,
advice. Or like, what will this replace? So I'm not just adding more. That's a good one.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, super
But
good. Okay, I end every episode with a rapid fire. So I'm gonna go through this real quick.
Yeah.
What is your Starbucks order?
So I do an iced oat milk chai because I
Mm-hmm.
gave up coffee last year.
Mm-hmm. Good. Any kind
Mhm.
of milk?
Oat milk. Yeah.
Oh, milk. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
What do you make for dinner if it's last minute and you're in a bind?
If I have my life together, then I might have some things in the freezer that I've pre-prepared. But otherwise, it's just takeout or whatever's easy because life's hard enough.
Good. So meaning pre-prepared as in you've like pre-cooked meals.
Like sometimes I'll get on like an instant pot kick and I'll make a whole bunch of soups or stews or whatever, and I'll double
Ew.
batch them and freeze them, but that's not all the time.
Okay. I was like a student there.
Yeah.
What's your favorite go-to department of Target and favorite designer if you have one?
I live at Target. Everybody knows me at Target. So I guess organizing, Bright Room has pretty good stuff. But I like to wander around into, so not just the organizing, the obviously organizing
Yeah.
areas, but wander around to other departments and think outside the box on how some of that stuff could be used untraditionally for
Love
organizing.
that. Okay. Do you have a book or a podcast you'd recommend?
I don't read as much as I would like to.
Mhm.
I listen to so many podcasts. I'm a really big nerd, so I really enjoy like podcasts about like history or learning or whatever. I really love Sharon McMahon from Sharon Says So on Instagram, and she has a great podcast called Here's Where It gets interesting.
Mm.
Um, so she just has fun
Yeah.
history. I don't know. I'm a dork, but
Okay.
it's really good. And then Smartless is my guilty pleasure when I want to just listen to something and not use brain cells.
Which
That one's
going back to the nerd stuff, I didn't know you took your LSATs and were going to be a lawyer. Like
I
what?
was a poli-sci major and was pre-law. So I
Crazy.
listened to a lot of government podcasts and like I listened to podcasts about like Supreme Court cases. It's really I'm a lot of fun, guys.
Okay, you're gonna use all this information to organize your home to the best.
I'm a very logical thinker, which is
Yes.
why I don't know. I don't know. It makes no sense. Yeah,
No,
I
it
wanted to be
does
a
make
lawyer.
sense. Yes. Okay. TikTok or Instagram.
Oh, Instagram. I can't learn another thing. I barely can use Instagram, so.
Okay, and then what is your Instagram handle so they can follow you?
Yes. So function forward lifestyle. It's a mouthful. I'm sorry. Someone already took function forward. So function forward lifestyle. And then my website is functionforwardlifestyle.com.
Beautiful. And then anything you want to offer to the audience? Do you have an email list to sign up or a way to contact you? Do you want to do a consult? What
I
should they?
mean, if you go to my website, I have a place where you can put in your email for an email list that one day I will do.
Yes, you're
But
getting
my
there.
life is
Yes.
crazy. Yes,
Awesome
in
though.
another time I will have that together. But I do complimentary phone like video phone consultations. So
Perfect.
it's really no obligation. I'm always happy to just hop on, chat with you, listen to what you're struggling with, and just let you know, kind of what I do and see if we're a good fit for each other.
Yeah. And I will just vouch that it's addicting. So once you book Meaghan, you can't go back. It's like you said, it really is that feeling, that high you get after you experience one space working. Then you're like, oh, we got to do the next thing. Then we got to do the next thing. And then before
Yeah.
you know it, we've done the whole
You don't
house.
you
It's
don't
just,
realize what a
oh,
prisoner to your home you are until
yes,
you start getting some control over it. So
yes.
yeah, we
Oh,
deserve
so
to,
good.
we spend a lot of money to live in Hawaii and we deserve, you know, your home doesn't have to be picture perfect all the time, but it doesn't have to suffocate you. And we deserve to feel comfortable in these very large investments that we're making.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Oh, well, thank you, my dear. I appreciate your
Thank
time. I know you're
you.
busy, busy, and I'm excited to get this out so everyone can organize their lives and let go of the anxiety. But you're the best. So thank you so
Oh,
much.
you are. Thank you. Have a
Yes,
good rest of your
bye.
day.